Howdy everyone, Poacher here with an Age of Magic video, and in today's video we're going to be doing a tier list on the teams within the game. We're not going to be doing heroes anymore, individual heroes, because there's just far too many. It's going to take too long to go through every single champion and say whether they're good or bad. So we're just going to do generic teams. Okay, I know that a lot of these teams you can switch a hero in and out and create a brand new team, but we're just going to do generic teams of which areas they're good in. We're going to focus on Arena, which is just PvP in general, Raid, and TOH, because they're the only game content. Okay, Arena is going to cover Tournament and Clan Wars as well. And I obviously know that not everyone's going to agree with these. Do what you want in the end, okay? This is just my personal opinion of where the teams stand in the game. So let's get into it and what teams are at the top at the moment. First up, we have the Barbarians. Now, the Barbarians I rank quite low because their sustain is fairly bad. In Arena, in PvP, they are great heroes to have. If you've got the Barbarians, they are definitely going to get you out of a pinch. I'm pretty sure they can take on the Druids. They can take on... I think they're one of the few teams in the game that can actually beat Goblins 3-star, no issue whatsoever. They have remarkable use. You could sub in heroes here and there. However, you don't often see the main Barbarian team altered in many ways. In Tournament, you can, because people are prioritizing arcane stars over champions, but in the more or less you're just only ever going to see this Barbarian team. So Arena, it's great. It can help take out some teams. It's very effective, lots of damage. In Raid, not so good. The Barbarians rely very much on rage stacks, going through waves of enemies. They're going to be they're having to get healed. They're going to lose their rage stacks. They're not going to be doing as much damage as they should be. You have a high chance of losing in Raid. Now, I'm talking going into Raid 6, okay? Because Arcane Stars outweigh Raid 5 at the moment. This has got potentially going into Raid 6. So, Barbarians would definitely not be a team to prioritize in Raid. They could be used to snipe out a single wave. If you're really struggling, you just need a bit of damage, but overall, they're sustained horrible. Same with TOH. Okay, they're just not going to be doing too well. Their rage stacks are you're losing your rage stacks. Every new time you go into a new node, you're starting off with your low rage stacks. Your healing is not great. High chance of losing on a wave. And I'm talking pressing auto and just hoping for the best, okay? You could probably do a fair bit of damage and sustain if you played it on manual, but overall, PvE content, these characters are not the best. Next up, we have Dark Elves. Now, Dark Elves used to be one of the worst teams in the game until the release of Lael, and their use changed dramatically. They became a very usable team. Now, you do not sub much into the Dark Elves except for Roynar. Okay, there have been the occasion again where you could see someone put in that you wouldn't normally see. However, this is the team you're going to be using. Okay, you could put Roynar as a leader as well. That's an option. Normally, you're going to see the Naja as a leader. Arena, Dark Elves are super powerful on offense because you're able to control it. It's as simple as that. On defense, however, is where they fall apart because the AI is just incapable of using the moveset in the order it's meant to be used, okay? So if you put Dark Elves in your Arena as a defense team, there is the chance you're going to wake up and you're going to be losing a few slots because there are a lot of teams that can take them on just because the AI is incapable of using it properly. In offense, though, there are many teams that Dark Elves can beat. They can beat BEASTMEN with a bit of RNG. Obviously, ARCHONS, they do pretty well. You can snipe the Barbarians as well. They don't do too well against Druids. Haven't tested them against Dragonkin. But overall, on offense, yeah, you can do some pretty nice damage with them. In raids, same deal. I do not rank them highly. They can do well, a bit of RNG to them. However, putting them on auto and then just letting them do their thing, just a lot of bad things can happen. The AI, again, incapable of using them properly, moving into different waves. Their cooldown rotations are just going to be all over the shop. Once you start losing a hero, it starts falling apart. TOH, they can do a little bit better just because they're not going wave after wave. They are able to just smash, but it's the same thing as Raid. The moment they lose a character, that character cannot be resurrected. You're going into the next wave, they're going to be substantially weaker. these are one of my main teams I use in TOH, just because they have a lot of damage output. But yeah, the moment something goes wrong, it falls apart really quickly, and there's not much they can do. The only saving grace on them is when the Naja revives Drakes, and the Drakes can take out an entire wave. But again, it's not going to help you in the next wave. So yeah, PvP, their strongest aspect. PvE content, they fall off a substantial amount. Up next, we have Woodland Guardians. Now, Woodland Guardians isn't a team you really see that often, but they are pretty powerful. They can do a lot of damage. They have great sustain. Their weakest aspect is Arena. Now, I know people use these teams in Arena. I know personally people that use Woodland Guardians in Arena. They do quite well. However, in terms of what is in the Arena at the moment, they will fall off, okay? Putting this as a defense team, yeah, you might get some sneaky defensive wins because people don't know how to combat them, but you will most likely start falling in ranks if you have these guys as your defensive team. The Dreverard and Cathbad are pretty much the carry on the team, but the Stealthy and the Pride can do a lot of damage. Going into Raid and TOH, though, this team does substantially well because it's a sustained team. The Cathbad and Dreverard combination just works really well. They are super powerful, okay? Raid, they just they're able to set up, they're able to take on waves and waves. You start to struggle, however, when you go up against anti-healing teams, just because on auto this team just the Cathbad, unlike other healers, even if your team is at full HP, Cathbad is known to just pop out his healing. Okay, he just pops it out. There's no reason or rhyme to it. He just goes for it. So in Raid, I might even pump him down to a 3-star, but I mean, you could use this team. This was my main team in Raid for a long time, and I very, very rarely had issues. Now, moving into TOH, you're going to have much more success, because every time you enter a new node, the Dreverard and Cathbad passive take effect, and they're starting off the battle with their immunity to debuffs. So you have a strong start with these heroes. So a little bit of an advantage going to each node, where unlike Raid, they're fighting wave after wave. So they're only having that immunity in the very first wave. So TOH, they are far better. That's probably their strongest aspect. They can do extremely well. You should not have an issue with this team. However, if you're looking for an Arena team, this probably isn't the team you would be dedicating your time to, apart from the Dreverard and Cathbad, because they are quite useful. No matter, they have almost unlimited potential within the game. Next up, we have the Wild Elves. Now, the Wild Elves are a extremely good faction or team to have. They will serve you well in all areas of the game. Arena, they do quite well. And the reason they do well in Arena, and I've only marked them as 3, because if you were to use the primary heroes for the Wild Elf team, you may not do so well. Sure, they have pretty decent offense. Defense, you would definitely fall a lot in ranks. However, what makes them really good in Arena is their versatility. You can swap in a lot of heroes to make this team stronger in different aspects. For example, you could take out the Tiliana and the Sandariel, and you could put in Dreverard and Cathbad, and the team is like a brick wall. It's really hard to get through, and it just whittles down the enemy. You could take out the Sandariel and chuck in the Lucky, and then all of a sudden this team has extremely high survival. It can do so well in Raid and TOH. You take out the Sandariel, put in the Egnor if you wanted to. This just team, a lot of use. You can swap out a lot of heroes. You can meld it to your specific needs. The team is just solid overall, okay? And it's going to serve you well. If you have these heroes, you're doing pretty well. So Arena, I have given them 3 stars because it does take a little bit of getting used to on how to use these heroes. But however, you put them in as a defense team, unless it was the Dreverard Cathbad version, you are most likely to see yourself drop a few amount of ranks in Arena. Raid, this team smashes it. This team absolutely dominates in Raid, especially getting that Lucky in there. They have great sustain, great damage. They're going to do wonderful, absolutely wonderful. When Raid 6 comes out, this will be my primary team to begin with. I know personally it's not going to be able to take on everything. However, yeah, this is going to be my primary team. TOH, same thing. They can do really well. Great sustain. They're going to just smash through those nodes. You have to just press auto. That's it. And it's going to take care. I'm not saying it's undefeatable. You will look at your screen one time and they will have died, but they're going to serve it there. There's just PvE. These guys are gods. Going into the Dragonkin. Now, I may have rated these guys a little bit better than they could be. However, as a new faction where people haven't had the experience on versing them, they are quite powerful because they can give themselves buffs through the roof, and they do really, really well. They're quite strong. People are starting to experiment with subbing in heroes to make the team stronger, and like I said, people don't know how to deal with them yet, so they're getting pretty good defensive wins. You can put in the Roynar, you can put in Rogar. I have seen Wieland as a sub into this team, and apparently that's done pretty well. Haven't seen it in action though, haven't versed it, so I didn't put Wieland in. But yeah, people are starting to use this faction, and they're getting results. Arena, it's been my main arena team now for the moment I unlocked Dracona. At the beginning, I was losing a few. That's because my Dracona was 3-star. However, he's pretty strong now, and I'm getting more arena defense wins than I am losses, so I'm happy to keep this as my team. That may be due to Arcane Stars, but I'm seeing success with it, so it's going to stay my arena team. In Raid, I have tested this personally, have been able to just auto through the whole line, no issues. Again, maybe due to Arcane Stars, we'll have to test in Raid 6 when it is released. However, this team just is really, really good. It has high defense. When they're wailing on your Karana, your Katar is getting stronger, so there's a bit of time in the battle where he's just pumping out a lot of damage. The cooldowns on Karana, I believe, can be reduced now. I can't remember off the top of my head, but Farah increases defenses as well. Dracona has a lot of damage to him. Just his basic attack can just wallop people. And then you've got Dexar, who can lock enemies down and can remove buffs. So it's got pretty good capabilities. Let's say capabilities. So TH, same deal. Okay. But I didn't want to give him 5 stars because it's just too early. Overall, solid team though. I'm really happy with them. One of my favorite teams in the game. I'm not disappointed I have these guys maxed out at all. Next up, of course, you hate to see it, the Archons. I just do not know a time in the game where the Archons will not be a top tier team unless for some reason they are just a new faction comes out that can absolutely just decimate them, because this team just happens to have a use no matter what is released into the game. It's just, you can't see someone asking for help in Discord or in game without someone at least suggesting Blue Artists. Okay. One of their main reasons is them being so good is they have great debuff protection with the Sacrif. You can sub in so many heroes. These aren't all the heroes you can sub in. There are so many more you can put in. You can put in, you've got your Argon, your Ilios, you've got your Seven, you've got your Balthazar. You can put in Lucky if you want to make it a bit stronger. No one ever uses that team anymore, but you could. You absolutely could. You could put in, it's just the team does well. No matter what. Arena, I only gave it a 4-star because everyone knows how to beat it. There are lots of ways to beat the team now. So as an arena defense team, you're going to lose some ranks. Arena offense, it's a safe team to have. It's going to get through a lot of fights. Raid, they can do pretty well in, depending on who you put in as the sub, the team can fall apart, but there's every opportunity to give this team great survivability. Like I said, you could put Lucky in there. You're going to do pretty well. Ilios is the 5th. Does really well in Raid. You can give him speed boosts. Their turns are coming out quicker. It's just insane. You can even put Ilios as a leader. Again, this team, it's like a Lego house. You can just move bricks wherever you want. TOH, same deal. I mean, just do what you want. This team's going to get through it. At some point, they will lose, sure, but they're going to do a lot of damage. You're going to get through a lot of waves. If you're investing in Archons, you're, for the time being, safe. Nothing wrong with this team at all. Next up, we have the Beastmen. The Beastmen are just god tier team. You can't do much better than them. You Wukong, you Rock, you Suna, you Phoenix, and then you chuck in your Azariel and you're set in almost any content within the game. They are weapons on Arena. They can take out a lot of teams. Arena defense. Even experienced players have trouble with the Beastmen, okay? There are teams that do pretty well against them. I have seen, obviously, Dark Elves can take them out. It's a bit RNG, though. I have seen footage of Druids taking them out. There are videos as well of ARCHONS taking them out, but I personally can't think of a team I would use against this team where I go in thinking, yeah, there's no chance I'm gonna lose. I think everyone in this game at some point has been bent over and just lubed up by the Beastmen. They are going to give you a hard time. Your subs, you've got your Pig Boy. You can easily put Pig Boy in if you want. You've got Roynar, chuck him in. There are variants as well of other subs. However, these are the primary characters you're going to see on the team. Arena 5 stars. People avoid them unless they're super confident or they have to verse the team. Raid, I think they fall off a little bit. I think their raid capabilities, they just lose a little bit of power going up wave after wave. However, Wukong also gets stronger the longer the battle goes on. So in Raid 6, I don't know how the team is going to go because the AI is actually pretty decent when versing Beastmen. Okay, they're going to aim the Rock first. Okay, they're going to then move on to the Azariel. Phoenix, if she ever dies, it's not because the AI has been aiming her, it's because AoE's just taken her out. So AI actually plays pretty well against Beastmen. So in a Raid 6 situation, I think this team may fall off a little bit, but it's not even falling off. It's still a solid team. You could do very well in Raid with the Beastmen. TOH, they will wipe through it, okay? Very rarely would you ever use Beastmen and find yourself losing a battle. It can happen. Now, that's happened to me before, but on the most case, these guys dominate every aspect of the game. So you got these guys, and Wukong probably one of the hardest characters to get in the game, but for everyone that has him, you know, you love him. Even if you hate him, you know you can rely on him. The final team, and I'm not saying this is the best team in the game, I rank it par on Beastmen, are the Druids. The Druids are, they are powerful and they can do a lot. They can take out so many different teams. They have immense survivability. They have lockdown. They have increased damage off healing, fast taunting now, immunity to debuffs at the beginning, accuracy decrease, which is so powerful against AI. Really, really powerful. And when you think about it, every fight you ever do is AI. You're fighting the AI. You're not ever fighting another player. You're fighting the AI, which makes Irma just so strong. They have buff removal, initiative decrease, arena. These guys are so strong. So strong. And like we were saying in the... what was it? What are they called? Not the Druids, the Wood Elves. I've put Lucky, Gloriana, and Sacrifier not as individual subs. You could sub in parts of their faction with the Drevarad Cathbad combination and become really, really strong. A team that has done really well is Drevarad, Cathbad, Gloriana, Colonel, and then subbing in a 5th character. I personally do Irma. I've seen Mabe. I've seen Wieland. I have seen Tiliana. I personally wouldn't use Tiliana. It's a strong, strong team. You can put Lucky in there. Take out someone, put Lucky in. The team has even more survivability. You can put Sacrif and Magnus in there. The team becomes a really strong wall. Arena, TOH, Raid, these guys, super, super strong. And when you think about it, this is the only team that doesn't have a leadership ability, and they don't even need it. They're so strong on their own. Giving this team a leadership ability, I honestly fear that they could become close to unbeatable. So I can see why they didn't get one. And I don't think they would be unbeatable if they released the Druids boss, because you'd have to sub someone out of this team, and this team, the people on the screen is why they're so strong. Each character plays their own part. This is going to be my other TAH team, not TAH, Raid 6 team. Druids and Woodland, not Woodland Guardians, Wild Elves are going to be my two main hitters in my Raid 6. TOH, not going to have any issue at all. I mean, these guys can do it without Arcane Stars. With Arcane Stars, it's a piss walk for them. No issues. Arena is set. You're going to be able to take out a lot of different teams. You're going to be able to defend yourself, because it's one of those teams people fear. They don't know how to combat it. And personally, in Clan Wars, I saw it get a lot of defensive wins. People were struggling when going up against these bad boys. So those are the primary teams in the game at the moment. I didn't rank them on best to worst. I kind of kept it in that order, but if they're on this video, they're going to serve you good in some way. And also remember, I haven't covered every team in the game. There are so many variants these days. So many variants, but that's up to you guys. Build this team, and then you can use some of these heroes in a different team. That's the whole point of it. They're like Lego bricks. You can take them out, put them somewhere else. You'll be fine. But if you're looking for teams that do well in all areas, it's your Druids and your Beastmen, and then from there, Archons as well. From there, the other teams start to become specialized, focusing on one main area, either PvE or PvP. But that's my personal opinion. That's where I think everything is sitting at the moment. I don't think I've missed any teams or primary teams, but if I have any other team that's not on here, it's not on here for a reason. I'm talking Undead. Okay, I know they can serve a purpose, but they're not on here for a reason. They're not going to serve you well. They're very niche teams, do well once in a blue moon. These teams are constantly being used. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. I will answer it to the best of my ability. And wherever you are in the world, until next time, please take care of yourself.